channel, go ahead, hit the like, hit the share. This video, we're going to take a look at that Detroit victim, because people keep saying the same thing when they support these accusers. How could these women make up the same stories when they don't know each other? Well, common sense should tell these people that all of these people are connected and they do know each other. And they're trying desperately to stick to this one script. But the gag is, all these women are bad actresses and are not going to be able to withstand the real pressure a courtroom will have. It's quite different to tell lies to the public and tell lies in a courtroom. That's why they're so desperately trying to prevent being identified, which is against the law. Every defendant has the right to face their accusers. But yet, look how we're watching this case unfold.
Department now involved in this national story. A woman who was 13 years old says that she was sexually assaulted by R. Kelly in a Detroit hotel, and that was only the beginning. R. Kelly was taken out of a Chicago courtroom in handcuffs, now in trouble for failing to pay his ex-wife child support. According to court records, he owes more than $161,000. It's the latest twist in an already ugly story.
Robert.
Kelly became hysterical during an interview with CBS's Gayle King. He says all the claims in the docuseries Surviving R. Kelly aren't true.
The reason I'm emotional, Robert, I apologize for that, is because this is the first time I was able to say something. I've said nothing.
Kelly is now surrounded by accusations and allegations that he has manipulated and sexually assaulted underage girls for years. Now, the Detroit Police Department is investigating such an accusation. A woman who was 13 in 2001 says Kelly had sex with her in a Detroit hotel. Then he continued having sex with her over a span of several years, including other locations in Detroit and his Atlanta home. She also claims Kelly gave her herpes when she was 17. She and her attorney have made statements to Chicago investigators, who then called Detroit police.
We recognize it's involving a celebrity. That makes no difference to us. We understand the heightened publicity on this case. Makes no difference. We'll still conduct our investigation as necessary, but we need to talk to the victim because right now we just got the information from the Chicago Police Department.
And Chief Craig also says that they have already notified the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office about this investigation. I'm Nick Monticelli, Local 4 News Today.
Now, what you just heard was released 9 months ago. And they're talking about this Detroit victim, who we can pretty much safely identify now as LaToya Middleton. Same person certain individuals have been trying so hard to discredit. And I wonder why. It's mighty funny these certain individuals want to use people and then want to throw them out and say they're not credible when they're not playing along anymore.
But y'all bitches don't got fucking nothing else to do but to run my name. The name that y'all don't even fucking have correct, but y'all want to sit there and say that y'all got receipts with my nigga. Y'all don't even know my fucking name. Like, for real? But this is the thing. Y'all cannot be mature adults and come to me, even though I ain't doing shit. Minding my business. Don't even talk about the shit. But y'all want to run my name because y'all bored. Y'all want to run my name because y'all need attention. Grow the fuck up. Fight for the justice that y'all want. Stop bothering me. Stop. Y'all got him, right? He in jail, ain't it? Fuck off, bitches. Like, I'm really trying to fucking understand, like, how the fuck do I sit there? I made my page public so can't nobody say I'm talking shit because it does not pay me. I ain't got got shit from this, didn't want shit from this, but motherfuckers are sit there because you don't do what they want you to fucking do. You don't say what they want to say. You don't be their little fucking puppet and their little guinea pig and shit, so they want to fucking run their motherfucking mouth and shit, talking about, oh, you a lie, you a fake. No, I wasn't a fucking lie and fake when y'all wanted me to do what y'all wanted me to do. Should we fucking talk about it? Let's talk about the fucking lies that y'all were willing to have me to feed to these motherfuckers. But y'all want to sit there and act like y'all so much victims and shit? Do we fucking want to do it? Y'all better chill the fuck out. Because y'all don't fucking know me. And that's on my God. I don't do fucking drama. But what I will do, I will dead situations real fucking quick. Like, I'm really like, yo, I have not said not one fucking thing. I don't even gotta do shit. But yet, like, I'm trying to fucking understand, like, yo, what exactly is y'all's motive? What is the game that you guys are playing? Why isn't anybody giving me the rule book and telling me what I should do, how I should act, what I can say, since that's what y'all like to do? Why y'all not getting me no game? Like, if y'all gonna use my name for some more attention, let a bitch know. Give me a fucking heads up. Don't just go wake up one morning and say, I wanna fuck with LaToya. Don't y'all have jobs, money to make, houses to find, or some shit like that? Like, what's going on? What is it? I'm confused. Why are y'all bothering me? Like, Lizzette, I'm talking to you, and I hope this gets to you. Now, what is your purpose? We don't talk. You allow that shit that was going on, and you know what I'm talking about, to get in between our friendship. But it's cool, mama. I respect you on that shit. I don't beg for friends. I welcomed you into my home and made sure that you would have been good. But you want to sit there and lie, mama. You did not pay me back. Let's re-bit on that. Okay? Okay? You put money, partial, in my hands and said that you would get the rest for me. Now, shortly after that, we went to a dispensary where you wanted some weed. You did not. Now, we went to the dispensary. You didn't have the money. As a matter of fact, you remember this place? That's where we went. Okay? That's where we went. The same money you put in my hands, saying that you paid me back, was the same money that bought your weed for you and your son when we went to that dispensary, sweetheart. Stop fucking flexing. It's okay. If you don't have the money to fucking pay me back, boo, I ain't suffering. I'm not struggling. I get mine. Okay? It's cool. I ain't mad at you. Keep my name out your mouth. Because you're the same person that was in the hospital when I came there when ain't none of them motherfuckers gave a fuck about you. But you want to sit there and say, I stopped you? Who the fuck are you? Seriously. I wait. And misunderstood very greatly. I was open and honest admitting a lie that I participated in, not in general as a whole, as the whole situation. So I will speak on that later. I will also speak about how the fuck am I responsible for the Savages going all out to the world, talking all this shit and shit about their daughter and shit, but to y'all motherfuckers, I see why y'all daughter don't want to fuck with y'all. I understand why the fuck she don't want to come home, because y'all ain't shit. Yeah, I said it. Y'all not shit to sit there and say, I'm the reason why y'all think y'all daughter was in the car. I'm the reason why y'all feel y'all daughter was feeling some type of fucking way when I just got in the picture in 2019, but y'all been doing this shit for years. Stop fucking lying. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Stop trying to make an innocent motherfucking bystander individual take responsibility for all y'all dumb fucking mistakes and shit, because shit's starting to get real. Okay. Irritated. Hurt. Those are all understatements to how I feel right now, and I'm gonna be real. Like, this ain't no fake shit, this ain't no acting, this ain't no lights, camera shit, nothing. To think that a group of people is already obvious y'all don't give a fuck about nobody, not even your own, because y'all doing shit just to be relevant. I I see it. And those people that actually have eyes to see and ears to hear, they see what the fuck is taking place. But I'll be damned if the world looks at me that don't even know me, my heart, my character, sit there and believe y'all fools to think that I came to y'all and said that y'all daughter was in a cult, she was being abused, and the reason why y'all carried it out to the world was because of me? Because I wanted to be famous? Fuck. More money, more problems. Biggie told. Now, I never told these people that their daughter was in a cult. I never told them that they should fear for life. When they presented things that were happening to their daughter to me, I said, I don't remember that being Robert's character. Was he the perfect man? No, he was not. But to sit there and say that you had to stomp on the floor 3 times, go pee, and all this bullshit, I told them that to me was a bunch of bullshit. But they convinced, and they had all the shit that they showed me on FaceTime. And I was sitting there really convinced and believing like, wow, maybe this shit might be like, wow, I haven't been following it. So it's not like I was sitting there up to date like most people are. So when people come to you and it's like they're showing their heart as parents, and as a parent, it hit me the where it's like, damn, what can I do to help you get your daughter? That was the conversation. Now, so Lizzette and I did have our opportunity to speak, where she did give me her reasons on why the Savages were not to be trusted. Am I the type of person that judge people based off other people? I am not. But Lizzette has this personality where she comes off as being innocent and sometimes even naive and gullible at points. It's just, she's very, I don't know, it's kind of like childlike behavior, and I'm a very motherly, nurturing person, so automatically I clung, and I wanted to care for her, and I believed in her and trusted her, so I wanted to just be, like, supportive of her. It wasn't the fact that I was trying to cling on her, stalk her, none of that shit. No, I was introduced to you. I cared for you based on things that you confided in me with and shared with me, so of course, because I'm genuine in heart, I expressed that. But her mental capacity wasn't where mine was. She really did the shit that she did being vindictive. So Lizzette and I, purity, I allowed, can't even say girl name, chick, I allowed her close to me. I'm a kind of an introvert person. Like, I'm a sociable antisocial. Like, I keep to myself. I don't let people close to me, whatever. So when it came down to her, it was more so of a common thing I felt that we shared. Like, how she and I spoke, what y'all in the world see of how she feel about Robert was not what I received. It's not the same. When she spoke to me, when we would text, when we would talk, when she would cry and I would listen, it wasn't the fact that he was a monster and she felt like her life was ruined by him and all of this shit that she was terrified, petrified. No. Her reason for getting involved with this was because she felt that she had something to gain. Period. But she overwhelmed herself because reality, Lizzette ain't a freaking bad person. She's just trying to be a badass. Curious. The dynamics of Lizzette in my relationship is I felt like I was encouraging her. At least that's what my heart felt. She would be overwhelmed and, stressed out. I had not yet been thrown into the lion's den to, understand where the mental was at. So I would be like, yo, just breathe. You got this. Be strong. Like, we will call each other sisters, say that we love each other, and just, it was everything. Like, she seemed like she believed in me and I believed in her, and she was like, yo, let's do a book together. And it had nothing to do with Rob or any of the situation, but I felt like, yeah, that's a distraction. Cool beans, let's do it. So we would go back and forth with ideas, and she's the one presented that I come see her. It wasn't me stalking her or doing nothing like out of character and crazy. The dynamics of stalking ain't nowhere in my DNA. But when it comes down to, like, when she got sick, I honestly thought the girl lived in Atlanta. So I would be like, yo, Atlanta's not far from it. If you're in the hospital by yourself, as a friend, I ain't gonna have my friend laying up in the hospital by her fucking self. And she's like, no, I'll be getting us sued. We're gonna meet up in LA. Okay, that's fine. So, go ahead and push pause on that other shit and let me go ahead and get the Clarice out the way. I have nothing negative to say about that. I have nothing negative to say about the missus because I personally never spoke with her. We've never exchanged words. I've never reached out, nothing, none of that. As far as Mr. Clary is concerned, we've only exchanged words once and it was nothing negative. He was the most respectful king, and I'm going to call it as such, that I had the opportunity in this whole situation to interact with. Out of families and some people that I may or may not have spoken to, I would say he was very respectful. He was very humble, and I appreciate that. I don't know if he's talking shit about me. I don't know if she's talking shit about me. I haven't heard anything, so as it stands, respect. Go ahead.
But his little pit bull is talking shit about you. Okay.
Go ahead.
So now, let me make this make sense for y'all. So we already know the Savages had linked up with Miss Rhonda Pace. And as I said before, they have been on this personal mission to round up so-called survivors. So somewhere along the way, they were referred to Lizzette Martinez. And then they found their way to LaToya Middleton. Now, as I told you all back when everybody was so gung-ho on harassing Miss Cash Jones that whether you like her or not, she holds some valuable information. Like, for example, when she tried to tell you that the Savages had this LaToya chick claiming her book, The Sex Me Confessions of Daddy's Little Freak. I don't know if they truly at the time believed she was the author of that book, but I can tell you one thing. At some point, they knew clear as day she was not. And if they had any common sense, they could have just found the copyright for said book instead of trying to fictionalize these stories to go along with their bullshit sex slave story. According to the trademark, Cash made her copyright 6/5/2018. And her employee name, Desjardins, Rachel Eve. Rachel Eve Desjardins, however you say that. So it would appear that someone else had tried to copyright the book, and Cash was notified of such actions, and that's when things started to become apparent. So for those saying that Cash is playing both sides, it could be that way. Or again, if you were a journalist and you have heard all these scandalous tabloids and you found a way to get inside and see for yourself, would you pass up that opportunity? People were like, when she was being vocal a little while back, that was the first time she had been posting via Twitter her thoughts about what was going on. But nobody was paying attention. She posted things such as, just thinking about all the hardcore facts I single-handedly gathered to discredit many of these individuals from speaking, yet they didn't want to hear it. Anything that displayed Mr. Kelly in a positive light wasn't their angle, and that, my friends, is called prejudicial reporting. Same thing that we see from CBS, Tia Ewing, Dr. Oz, all these people that are pushing these so-called accusers and disregarding all the people who have said they have never seen the things that have been described. Even if you go on Vlad's interview with Public Announcement, they say they were interviewed or thought they were interviewed by someone from the surviving R. Kelly. And as we see, they weren't featured because they said they were not going to slander Mr. Kelly, which is their angle. Cash goes on to say, I can still hear the preacher's daughter, referring to Faith, crying in my ear saying she didn't want to do this and everybody was only in this for money. Where's that energy now that y'all red carpet hopping? She says, if there's really nothing to hide, what are y'all so afraid of? Why threaten that? Why the threat? That pressed about this new book? Cash had a lot to say. But with the way things have been going, how can you blame her for not knowing who to talk to, who to trust? But anyways, let's get back to LaToya, because the whole purpose in bringing up Cash is because she was the author of the book. The book that has had so many people swearing that these allegations must be true because they don't realize this book is fictional at the end of the day. So old Lizzette thinks she can bring in Miss Middleton based on the fact that they believe she wrote this book.
On you. That's your explanation. They're lying on you. Absolutely. It's day 2 of bombshell interviews surrounding the R. Kelly sexual abuse investigation. I'm fighting for my life! This morning, R. Kelly's 2 live-in girlfriends defended him and threw their own parents under the bus.
I told my parents I did not want to sing. My parents made singing like a job for me. So this is not something I wanted to do. And not only that, I even tried to...
Now, exclude the last part of this, of what Azriel had to say then. And you had everybody attacking her, talking about why is she pursuing her career now and all this blase blase. Well, let's just think about this hypothetically. If you now need a way to provide for yourself, what are you going to do? Keep sitting on your ass? Make it make sense, the things that you say. And as I said before, just because you have a passion to do something doesn't mean you're going to stick to it when it becomes a burden to you. And I could see that from the looks of Azriel's page, they very well made this a burden to this child. So I wouldn't blame her from wanting to do everything but what they wanted her to do. And this is Azriel's response while we're on the subject. Seriously, half of y'all be older than me looking for attention, trying to degrade me. So sad, but I love it because I get my strength from God and nobody on this planet could ever compete with him. She said, although I don't have to say or put out anything, I'm going to because I'm so tired of people that are just ignorant or feel they need to bring me down to make themselves feel good. Yes, I did say publicly I probably would never sing again. The reason I said that is because the only memories I have attached to singing is when I was younger, and as I said, it burned me out. It was forceful and like a job and not something I enjoyed. Everything from what I wore, how my hair was styled, what song I sung, choreography, everything was not my choice, which no longer made it fun. And you have her genius father on record saying, I made her sing R. Kelly. Does that not prove her point? She had no control. Would you not get tired of doing something that you once had a passion for that you have no control of? Let's stop overlooking the fact that this girl, though she met R. Kelly at the age of 17, she was months away from being 18, as she's clearly celebrating her birthday today. Matter of fact, you do the math. These people obviously did not want to come forth if it had not been from the Savages, and I wonder why. Maybe because they were pushing their daughter off onto this man. And are you going to fault him for saying that you don't have to pursue this career if you don't want to? Are you to fault him if a relationship develops and he begins to take care of her where she doesn't have to go out and do anything in this industry? All these stories have been pumped in our head, but let's not forget that it was all built off of a lie. They painted this girl as being missing just to get the public's attention. Then they start proclaiming she was a slave. Let's not forget all these things they've put in our head along this way. But let's get back to the news reporting.
Tried to kill myself because I did not want to sing as a cry out for help.
As if R. Kelly's heated interview wasn't shocking enough.
But just pause again, and it's funny that these people from CBS want to come back and say, well, according to her medical documents, she tried to commit suicide because of a boy. So you don't think it's quite possible she gave that excuse rather than tell her therapist that she was being forced to do something that was no longer fun for her? Is that so out of the box?
The singer is now facing sexual abuse allegations here in Detroit. Police are investigating a claim that a woman who is now 30 years old was sexually assaulted by R. Kelly when she was only 13. It's a serious case for DPD.
We need to talk to the victim because right now we just got the information from the Chicago Police Department.
Today, Detroit
So even after all this reporting, I saw this story reported on like 5-6 times. They clearly tell you they have not even spoken to this so-called victim they're reporting on.
police are not saying whether or not they've been able to contact the victim or her big-time attorney, Gloria Allred. But the details of the...
I'm going to stop right there. Gloria Allred. Because now I'm finna take you to the bullshit. They want to keep doing these press conferences, doing all this talking. Let me show you what she told us right after they put this storyline out there about this 13-year-old victim from Detroit who they never identified.
Also investigating Mr. Kelly. I have been in contact with at least 4 other law enforcement agencies. And
pay attention to that. After being contacted by multiple women on this R. Kelly campaign, she made sure to contact 4 different officials.
Many of my clients have spoken to law enforcement as well. We will continue to be alert to any violations of our clients' rights and any threats that are made against them. This time, I have every reason to believe that there will be justice for Mr. Kelly and a number of his victims. And now I present Lizzette Martinez.
My name is Lizzette Martinez, and my story was told to the world in Lifetime's documentary, Surviving R. Kelly. At the age of 17, I was walking in the mall with friends like so many teenagers often do when I was approached by a predator, and that predator is Robert Sylvester Kelly. The years of him preying on young women have gone on for far too long. Robert Sylvester Kelly must be held accountable for the many lives he has ruined. I stand with the victims, including those who are out there who have not come forward yet. I say to you, you are not alone. And to Mr. Greenberg, it is so irresponsible to state all the women are liars. The only person lying is your client, which he has done for more than 20 years. But it's looking like his time is up. Hopefully, this new indictment will lead to justice and Kelly's many victims can begin to heal. Thank you.
I will be happy to take some questions. About the indictment and the subsequent statements that have been made by members of his defense team. The other law enforcement? Oh, you're talking about 4 other victims. Oh, I represent more than 4 victims of Mr. Kelly, or alleged victims of Mr. Kelly, yes. I did a press conference, for example, last week in New York on Thursday with 2 of my clients who are accusers of Mr. Kelly, Latrice and Rochelle, and prior to that, a few months ago, I did another press conference in New York with my client Faith Rogers, and she's also on the Lifetime documentary, and also with her mom, Kelly Rogers, also with Michelle Kramer, who is the mother of another one of my clients who has not spoken publicly, but who was rescued by her mom from Mr. Kelly. And so we have continued to speak out.
Now, so far, she's telling you she got Lizzette, she got the 2 Baltimore chicks who they were holding up the picture of LL Cool J in the press conference. She got Dominique Gardner, who hasn't publicly spoken out. Then she comes back after this with the man who just stumbled upon another sex tape, which has never been handed over, I guess. But I'm going to let her go on and continue because she's going to say that these people are not connected.
I've not identified all of the other accusers that I represent, but there are, so 3, 5, 6, I've identified, I guess, 6 so far. And
How many other accusers are there?
pardon me?
How many other accusers?
You mean that I represent?
Yes.
I'm not going to say.
She will never flat out give a definitive answer about anything other than to implant the seeds for the propaganda she wants to do with this press conference. Isn't it kind of crazy? In most cases, press conferences are held by the police officials and people of that nature. Why does she find it so necessary to keep holding these press conferences?
Pardon me?
How many other accusers?
You mean that I represent?
Yes.
I'm not going to say.
Can you tell us anything about the other 4 jurisdictions that law enforcement agencies?
So they asked her to tell them more about the other 4 law officials that she contacted.
I will only say those that I have identified previously, and that is the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York. Also, New York Police Department. So I'm not identifying the other 2 at this time.
So out of the 4 different officials that she contacted, she's only going to tell you 2. And both of them are in New York. For a lady that always want to hold press conferences, it's funny the information she don't want to share.
Unless I think it is timely to do so.
Why do you think it took so long for Mr. Kelly to finally be arrested?
That's a very good question. Why did it take so long for Mr. Kelly finally to be arrested? In the first...
Because they had to study the old case and try to gather up as much as possible to paint the narrative in the public eye to get this indictment. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to bring the proof.
The reason he was not arrested sooner is that some people do not value sexual abuse of African American women who are most of the...
Here go the propaganda. She won't try to tell us that the reason why R. Kelly hadn't been arrested is not because the so-called accusers haven't been going and filing the proper complaints with the police and things like that. No, that's not the reason. The reason is because we don't value sexual assault against black women. Meanwhile, we're going to keep promoting this over-sexualized image all day. Okay, that makes sense, Gloria.
Alleged victims, but we don't know all of the alleged victims because not all have come forward to anyone, is our belief. And so some people feel that way. Another number of African American women have felt that way and have expressed that to me, that their lives were not valued the way the lives of others might be valued, others of other races. I don't know. That's speculation, but I know it's a legitimate concern they have. Having said that, the good news is that the prosecutor, Kim Fox, in Cook County, Chicago, has gone to a grand jury and they have returned indictments where there are charges in reference to 4 alleged victims.
Ms. Martinez weigh in on the same question, the same feeling that she has?
Why it has... Yeah, of course we're speculating, but do you wish to answer that or not? Why do you think it's taken so long? Okay, she doesn't have it. She indicates she doesn't have any comment on that.
Any other comments about anything that she wants to say?
I will say this: she will be speaking to law enforcement, as many of my other clients have.
She said she will be speaking to law enforcement. So she hasn't spoke to law enforcement? I can't with these people.
I mean, a big part of the reason that we're here is because his defending attorney said that all of the accusers are liars. How did that actually make you feel as an attorney? And was that, if you want to speak to how that made you feel personally?
I mean, it's irresponsible. It's ludicrous. I mean, the only person that's lying, like I said before, is Robert Sylvester Kelly, and he's been doing that for a very long time.
I believe Lizette's so high right now she can't do nothing but keep saying the same thing. She already said that.
What would be our motive to lie? I came out for the purpose of telling my story because this has gone on for far too long. And it's been like 20 years, since this happened to me, but it was so important for me to come out because he has to be stopped. This isn't new. This has been going on for a long time.
What's new is the prosecution. Right. Thank you. Any other questions?
That's the key point. They needed the right prosecution to bring this case before a grand jury, put their name on it, and get this indictment.
Right now, Lizette's accusations are not amongst 10 counts.
That's correct.
What is your game plan going forward? Are you hoping that her charges will be included at some point, or are you going after him civilly? What's happening?
Nope. You see, Lizzette don't qualify because if you ask me, she was at least 18 when she met R. Kelly. She don't qualify. But they're hoping to get a financial settlement. She said they haven't made one yet. That doesn't mean that is not her end goal. You see, with a conviction, that will definitely spike up an amount of what she could get. Duh.
I can't predict what's going to happen in the future. As to this case in Chicago, it will be interesting to see if, as in the case of Bill Cosby, in which I was representing 33 accusers of Bill Cosby in that criminal case, whether other accusers will be permitted to testify as to what in Pennsylvania were called prior bad acts, or not. We'll have to.
Y'all pay attention to this, because this is where it's getting very interesting. People wondering why we're defending R. Kelly so much. Well, because what y'all don't see is what's going on can eventually start to affect us. When they start making these laws based on these cases they've had, then you'll start to see
What the Illinois courts allow in that regard. In reference to Mr. Cosby, there were 2 criminal trials. In the first, one other accuser other than the alleged.
She keep throwing up Mr. Cosby because if you go back to his case, they had to get the judge to okay the first accuser to testify because she had a non-disclosure agreement. But you know what? I have not one time heard no such thing happen in this case with R. Kelly. Yet all these people claim they signed a non-disclosure agreement.
Victim was permitted to testify. I represented her. That case ended in a mistrial. In other words, the jury couldn't decide. They were deadlocked. The case was refiled. In the second criminal case against Mr. Cosby, 5 prior bad act witnesses, other accusers, were permitted to testify. I represented the majority of them. And it resulted in a conviction of aggravated indecent assault against Andrea Constant, the alleged victim. And of course, Mr. Cosby is in prison and has been classified as a sexually violent predator. A similar issue I expect to arise in the case involving Harvey Weinstein, now pending in New York City. There are 2 alleged victims there. I represent one of those 2 alleged victims in that criminal case. will other accusers be permitted to testify in that criminal case is also an issue. And it will not be a surprise to me if that issue is decided very soon. I'm not going to comment on whether I do represent any other accusers in that criminal case. So now we're back to R. Kelly, but I expect that that will be a similar issue. So we will...
Exactly. Y'all let other cases set the stage for the next. But we already know how it's going to turn out for Harvey Weinstein. So she could stop playing with that.
When did this happen?
Between which years and which years? Good question. And the answer is between
1995 and 1999.
1995 to 1999. There was I'll call it an abusive relationship, is what is being alleged, between Ms. Martinez and Mr. Kelly.
So 1995 through 1999, Lizzette says she was with R. Kelly. So doesn't that lap in Lisa Van Allen, his wife, etc., etc.? Interesting.
That's correct. Well, we're not going to go into the cities and states, but I will say it's more than one state. Okay, well, we're not going to characterize the situation, but some of the facts or some of her allegations are on the Lifetime documentary, and she will be answering all of the questions of law enforcement, including all of the facts. So
we supposed to watch a scripted TV show to get the facts of this 4-year relationship she had. They're not going to give the details, the specifics. And she will be talking to police officials.
And she will explain why that abusive relationship, which is the way she would term it, lasted for so many years. I thank you for your question, but we're not going to opine on the statute of limitations on that.
So as you can see, she ain't going to tell you just straight out. Lizzette has no case. She ain't going to tell you about where it happened, no locations, no jurisdictions, the statute of limitations. Nope.
Yes. She will be meeting with him very, very soon.
Was she threatened by R. Kelly to stay quiet?
Law enforcement has contacted her, and she will be, again, meeting with them soon. But she want to be the champion for the so-called survivors. This is comical.
File charges in Lizzette Martinez case in addition to her testifying for other cases.
Well,
so I want y'all to pay attention to this question, because I just saw something on Twitter, and people was like, "Oh yeah, such and such is cooperating, blase blase." I want pay attention to what she finna tell you. The question was, are they going to be filing charges against R. Kelly on Lizette's behalf?
the only individuals who can file charges are the prosecutors in various jurisdictions. So that will be up to them. A person who is an...
Did you hear that? The only person that can file these charges are the prosecutors, not the so-called witnesses. Okay? So, even when a person comes forward, it is the prosecutor who files the charges. not the so-called victim.
Alleged victim can do is speak to law enforcement and tell their truth, provide any corroborating evidence that they may have, and then it's up to the prosecutor to decide if any charges should be filed, and if so, what those charges would be.
Now, if you didn't catch my video on Kim Fox, just go right ahead and check that playlist.
I would say we're not seeking to make a case, but we are seeking to make sure that law enforcement has...
The woman that has had all these damn press conferences is not seeking for a case for her clients. She just want to offer so-called witnesses to get a indictment and get a conviction. Okay.
All relevant information, has an opportunity to interview any potential witness, and then they'll make the decision. That's not a decision for us to make, but of course they'll be interested in whether any individual to whom they speak would be willing to testify under oath, because that's important. And so we'll have to wait and see. I don't have any comment on the evidence that I have. I will say this. If I have any, if I acquire any videotapes, I will not be showing them to the press. I will not be sharing them. They will be provided to law enforcement if I have the permission of the person who has or will provide them.
Sounds like you're upset with Mr. Avenatti.
I have no comment about him. This is about R. Kelly. I'm just saying that if there's any videotape of a minor being sexually abused by anyone, that is not something that I believe should be shared with the press. I don't know whether he did or didn't. This is not about him. I represent, as I say, a number of victims, and they are very concerned because a number of them believe that they either were or may have been recorded. And the idea, I mean, would any mother or father want a videotape, a DVD, any other type of electronic recording of their child being sexually abused by anyone? Would anyone want that turned over to the press? Absolutely. I have never met a parent who would want that. I don't believe there's any justification for that. Turn it over to law enforcement, that's fine. But not to any other individual. I don't care whether the press or not. It should not be shared or viewed by anyone. Yes, great question.
Yeah, if you could clarify a little bit on that legal question, because I know people have been trying to figure out how these pieces work together.
Me too. Having said that, a statute of limitations is an arbitrary time period set by law. It is different in every state. It is different for criminal cases versus civil cases. It is often different if the alleged victim is a minor underage than if the alleged victim is an adult who alleges adult sexual abuse. Usually there's a longer time period, statute of limitations for adult victims of child sexual abuse or child victims of child sexual abuse.
So this is, of course, why it's important to make it appear these girls are minors and underage. But even with Lizzette, I'm going to need to see the birth certificate.
It's different in every state. And the laws are constantly changing. For example, in Illinois, the law changed on statute of limitations, which has most likely been a factor in why this case has been able to be filed now. We have worked to change the law.
Notice, previous cases they've had have allowed them the jurisdiction and the statute of limitations and all that lines up for them to proceed with this case.
Number of my clients who were accusers of Bill Cosby and myself changed the law, helped to change the law, I should say, in California, where we eliminated the statute of limitations for criminal prosecution of rape and child sexual abuse. And Governor Brown signed that into law. You see that in my documentary, Seeing All Red on Netflix. I charged.
Well, this hurt my soul.
Bruce Kelly says he hasn't talked to his brother since taking legal action against the singer in 2015 for unpaid wages. But until then,
I worked right beside this guy since 1990. I mean, officially working for him. Videos. I was his personal assistant, road manager.
did you ever see any conduct that concerned you with young women, girls?
Well, not young women. No, not young women, but women in general, yes. You know, Robert, he used to keep a lot of things from me. He did. But I can't say that I seen him with young women. You know.
So to wrap this video up, we saw a couple weeks ago LaToya blasting Lizzette, calling out Faith Rogers' mother, Kelly Rogers. We see Lizzette bringing in Tiffany Hawkins now all of a sudden. But we're not supposed to recognize the fact that all these people were connected for a reason. But the problem is, none of them can stick to the script. You have LaToya now implicating Julius Darrington and Ruby Chris yet again, part of his entourage. Feel free to go and check out these people's page on Instagram. As of now, a lot of these messages are still up. So you can see for yourself this plot and why we've said from the beginning this is all a money grab. They keep saying, why would we do this? For money. Whether they get it instantly or later in the line, I don't feel none of them expected the backlash to come like this. But at the end of the day, the truth will always come to light. You lie once, you have to keep lying. At least one person is having a change of heart.